And the French gave us these words: pork, beef, and mutton. And these are all from French. So because of the French invasion in 1066, we've suddenly got lots more words, and we can make a finer semantic distinction. We can separate out the animal alive in the field and the flesh of the animal dead on the plate, thanks to the fact that we had the French Norman conquest in 1066.
Anxiety leads to fear, and fear leads to avoidance, and avoidance leads to everything which we say is wrong. ये दो रखिए, anxiety and avoidance. People would feel anxious, but they need to know how to act on it. Because most children who are there in our schools, whether they are 3 years or they are 23-year-old, the problem between an adult and child is the way we connect and communicate. It doesn't come across as care, it is control. And then the relationship of care and communication does not end up with making a child more convinced. It makes a child more confused. Look at what one person's dream has done to all of us sitting here. And that is why do we teach children to dream?
In circle time, we use 5 skills. The 5 skills that are mentioned there. And I want you to repeat after me with your hands. Take your hands up. Listening. Speaking. Use both your hands. I need the one. That's it. Listening. Speaking. Again, one more time. Thinking. Looking. Listening. Speaking. Now this time I want you to say, and I'm going to do the actions, and you need to do the actions and say loudly. Speaking, listening, speaking, looking, concentrating. Listening, looking, speaking, concentrating. Excellent, excellent. So we're using these 5 skills.
Because of wrong influence, start working a little lesser. You reach a stage of being demotivated. But because you have learned the skills of teaching, you're still effective in the class. The toughest task is to keep yourself at that stage if you want to be effective in your classroom, if you want to be respected by your teachers and thereby get respect for your community, the community of teachers, unfortunately, who are not respected in the nation. You have to keep yourself at the stage of being motivated and effective. The emotional connect between the teacher and the student is very, very important. You have to be a very keen observer of any change in children's behavior suddenly that comes up or may come up with in a course of some time, if there has been rampant change in a child's behavior, there's something that is troubling the child. Have you, as a teacher, been able to diagnose what is the problem of the child? How much of time have you given to the child? All this will lead to an emotional connect.
Although we have few, pick up any coin and look at the date, the year on which this coin was minted as a start. What do we have to do? We need to look at the date, the year in which this coin was minted. Then reflect on your life in that year.
Educational content becomes abundant, real-time experiences will become absolutely important. I mean, this again for me is a lift from the Time magazine, and I think if you get the opportunity, you must read up this article because it talks about how children are actually getting so terribly confused. And both the speakers before me also mentioned about the confused lot of our children and why are they confused despite the plethora of choices that are now available with them, and how just focusing on your inner strength is actually where the Western world is going, and we've had this as a part of our inheritance. So I think those are some of the things that we really need to make them meaningful, and what a better place to start with except for Varanasi, I mean, the hub of where it all began.
No greater responsibility, no greater privilege than raising the next generation. And that is the common denominator that binds us all, that has brought us here together. When we look at multiple intelligences, we said you can play hockey intelligently, you can dance intelligently, you can sing intelligently, you can speak intelligently. Intelligence is not just marks in a subject. So one aspect of multiple intelligences is to create that environment in school, and as a teacher you can recognize these intelligences, tell the kid you're great at this, we need to develop it and provide the opportunity.
The best leaders are insatiable learners. We see the very interesting adjective that's given. It's not a continuous learner, but they are insatiable learners. Because any amount of learning is not sufficient for them. They are in a process of continuous learning. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. And that's what the best leader should do. He need not be performing everything. He only has to inspire people. He has only to get things. And if today, as a teacher, when I say the advisor to the financial advisor to the Prime Minister of India is an old student of mine, when I say that the world-renowned ophthalmologist is my old student of mine, I have not met them after that. But my paper mein dekhta hu, ye mera product hai. And the joy that you get, that see, I said I have generated leaders.
Education is an adventure. और क्यों adventure है कि ये वो चीज नहीं है. You should say कि जैसे ना we've got cells in our body and every cell has a dedicated job. The skin cell and whatever other cells are there. But nowadays when you're expecting, they talk about harvesting stem cells because a stem cell can be anything it wants to be, and children are like that.
If I'm going to be working with kids, And if I don't make use of any opportunity to interact with them and to learn from them, I'm going to be left far behind, right? And that's the way I live my life. I'm an engineer, I think like an engineer. When any issue is given to me, I look at how I can solve it. I believe Gyan does not change the world. I believe doers change the world. Because if you learn something, you know it far better when you teach it. When you teach something, you learn a lot better. Why should your students only learn? Why can't they teach? Experiments that I've seen, introduced and seen them working.
I think it's reading, very important. You know, bring this element of reading into your school. Our children, what they do at school, which I've noticed at school is, even if they're coming for a sports practice and other children are performing or whatever, and this class is sitting back, everybody carries a book with him or her. I mean, grandfather said it so beautifully. He says, you may have coffers of gold and wealth untold, but you cannot be richer than me, for I had a mother who read to me.
Mandate, according to me, is not to create artists, but to create rasikas, to create an appreciation in them about the arts, to have information about this beautiful country and its diversity, its folk traditions, its artistic expression, its aesthetic construct, which is, I think, the most important thing that a dance teacher, music teacher, theatre teacher, or a visual arts teacher can do.
Today in this competitive world, my friends, and all the teachers here, my request to all of you is, it's a highly competitive world. Please remember, your school is for what? It's to create a person, a boy or a girl, who has to move into a society, who has to move and do something for the nation.
This was also an advertisement by a particular company, right? You can see, okay, so projector, alright. You can see some tourist spot here, like nice scenery, sunrise time, car, road, lights. All that is there in that particular picture. Which company advertised with it? Now, it's purely analytical. As you saw, we're trying to analyze different things, not just physics, not just chemistry. Analyze a lot of things.
You need to understand that when you embrace technology, there can be mistakes that happen. Okay, you may go wrong, but unless you get your hands dirty with technology, trying to learn technology, you don't learn. That I want a product or a service which is going to, which is something that I'm going to learn and create myself. It cannot be a ready-made solution that you bring to me and you say use it. I want something which I learn along with you and I create something with you. Okay? Because that's the way technology can be used.
Don't ever feel that, I don't know or you don't know. We all learn and we learn together. We need to progress, so we share. That is why I've come here. Because I want you all to spread all this. And is it new for you? That's what I want to know. Yes or no? 1, 2, 3. That extinguished first. Next that. And this was the last. Did you all notice that? Yes.
You all are programmed in advance. That this would be the stimulus, the temperature is the stimulus, and you will withdraw. That the insect will be the stimulus and the tongue will come out. And we are all programmed according to that, and hence we should follow it. But what happened then with more scientists doing more careful studies is they questioned it and they said, suppose you saw somebody in fire, you saw a person in fire, would you not jump into it and try to help him? Will it be reflexive that even if you want to go into, you are not able to because you are pushed back by your SR, by your stimulus response bonds?
Khasta Kachori, on the other hand, is shaped like a UFO. It's harder and flakier, has a spicier filling, usually of chana dal, and is eaten with tangy chutney. The fact of the matter is that the Prime Minister is not going to go and claim anything. It's us, it's we, and so much more than asking me for my suggestions, you should take inspiration from your own chairman.